Hi everybody, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Mapperton Live. These are one of our new vlogs that we're doing every Thursday. So we're doing these every Thursday, and do be sure to subscribe down below, and the most important thing is to turn notifications on. So if you want to be immediately notified to when one of our videos comes out, which is every Thursday and Saturday, just hit turn notifications on and you will be buzzed or beeped. Or
people might not want to be buzzed in their pocket. I think if I was walking along and my phone started buzzing and told me I had to go and watch a video, I'd find that really...
I like watching Mapperton Live. So please,
I don't want to be controversial. We'd like you to subscribe, but
turn
if you don't like the buzzing in your pocket.
And also comment down below on what we're about to talk about.
Julie's much better at YouTube than I am.
No, you're very good.
I'm learning from you.
You are very good. So we thought today we would talk about, because we started this channel, Mapperton Live, really going for it. Well, it started to evolve over the first lockdown, so 2020.
That's right. Going back 2 years, we were walking around. We had the first wave of the pandemic, and we didn't have visitors coming to the house and gardens.
Everything was shut.
And so we were trying to work out what to do. And instead of having visitors visit us physically, we took out a camera and we walked around and we did these live tours.
Yes.
And it's all evolved from that. And amazingly, we now have over 80,000
Yeah,
subscribers?
80,000. And what was really fascinating about that is we just took a leap of faith over the first lockdown. So that was sort of March to June, July 2020 over here in the UK. And we didn't have very good Wi-Fi at that time, because if you were to drop a pin in the most remote part of Southwest England, you'd probably come here. And our Wi-Fi was not very good. And so we'd have me as kind of the presenter with my in-laws. So our tour today is about All Saints Church. I don't know a lot about it. My mother-in-law does. Hi everybody, and welcome back to another live and interactive tour here at Mapperton Estate. As promised, we are going to be obviously outside discussing the exterior here, and of course going into those fantastic gardens in the back. So I'm here with my mother-in-law, the Countess of Sandwich, and she knows this house inside and out. So I will definitely be learning a lot alongside with all of you as well.
I was the cameraman in those days. I wasn't
allowed. And there
was
a huge cord, because how were you working the internet?
I know, it was really, I had to plug it in. So I had like a mile of cable that would trail around the house. So I wasn't just cameraman, I was kind of cable guy as well. And it's amazing that anything actually came off.
It was unbelievable. And then we had Nestor, who had like earphones on, and he was sound man. He was sound man.
And William was sound man once.
Yep, he was sound man. And what we did is we did it every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So we would tell people to grab a cup of tea, and then we would do these live tours. And from that, the channel has really evolved.
Well, it did. People seem to like those, and they've still got, I mean, they're still up there. Those early tours with my parents in particular, and Julie. Of course, the most popular one is called A Romp Through the Bedrooms,
yes.
Which sounds very spicy. That one I think has had over 100,000.
Yeah, that one
100,000 people have romped through our bedrooms at Mapperton. That's astonishing, isn't it? Anyway, I think this is a little bit unfair, because the title of this YouTube video is not a history of Mapperton and YouTube.
No, but it's kind of how we got to what we're about to talk about, which is over the last year, 2021, we evolved the channel to really give you a feeling of what it's like to live here, the repairs, the restorations, the leaks. And we wanted to sort of share with you our top disasters of last year. We thought it'd be quite fun.
Because believe it or not everything goes to plan here. Sometimes things don't go to plan at all.
No.
So we thought we'd bring up a few of those. But as Julie says, this is a new vlog that we're going to do every Thursday. So in addition to this, we then release another proper episode on a Saturday. So we move the time of our episodes from Sundays to Saturdays. And I believe it's 8 o'clock on Saturdays, or is it 9 o'clock?
Well, that's UK time.
UK time.
So 8 o'clock. The other thing, aren't you calling it like Mapperton Live Extra?
This is Mapperton Live Extra. Exactly. So the vlogs are called Mapperton Live Extra. Well done, well remembered.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
And then the episodes go out 8 o'clock, which is 5 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
And 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is what in Chicago, where you're from?
That is 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, and on the West Coast?
Well, then you've got Mountain Time, so then
Mountain
that would
time,
be 1 o'clock. And then it would be noon. There you go. Noon Pacific Standard Time.
I hope she's got that right. I find it all very confusing.
Noon Pacific. Well, I'll have Stephen make sure he edits. And noon Pacific Standard Time, and then 8 o'clock UK time. All right, so let's go
into our top disasters of last year. So do you want to pick your favorite?
I mean, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think probably for me personally, the top disaster was that I had COVID over Christmas.
Julie had COVID over Christmas, along with half the world.
Yes.
I mean, lots of people had COVID over Christmas, I imagine. I hope that none of you had it too badly and that your relatives haven't had it too badly. But in your case, you had it at a moderate level, and it did mean that you had to isolate, and it made it rather difficult to have Christmas lunch.
It did make it difficult having Christmas lunch, but
you were okay.
I'm okay, and what I was really pleased was that I had filmed for American Viscountess beforehand. Welcome to Christmas at Mapperton. For so many of us around the world, this time of year is incredibly special, and the same holds true here. I want to show you all a little sneak peek of what's behind these doors here at Mapperton, especially during this festive season. Come on in. And I was able to do that whole series of panettone bread and butter pudding, felting.
So thank God she got everything sorted for YouTube. What about for your family? Did you get everything sorted for your family? Wow. We did manage to hold the Christmas. It wasn't the same without Julie there for the run-up. She did manage to get to Mapperton, but immediately had to go and isolate. And the question then is,
did
you do any cooking?
Nope.
Did you do much decorating?
I did, yes.
Did you do any present
cleaning
wrapping?
up?
Present wrapping?
I did some.
Some present wrapping nonsense. You didn't wrap a single present this year.
Did I not?
No, you didn't. That's okay.
It was brilliant. It was the most
like
amazing
a complete Christmas
ever.
off. Remind me to be ill next Christmas, because it sounds like you have a really good time. And you did have all your food brought to you, and you were looked after, and there was lots of sympathy, and there were well wishes from all around the world. I think once people heard that you had COVID, they just sort of wanted to make sure you were okay. And,
it was really
you had
lovely.
really generous messages of support.
It was really lovely.
Anyway, so that was a bit of a fail.
Yeah, so that was my big fail.
I tell you one of the fails, one of the disasters from this year, which may not mean that much to many people, but for Mapperton it was a great sadness. At Mapperton we have 3 lovely runner ducks, and they are pets in the same way that Percy the tortoise is a pet. Alas, every so often a wayward dog runs after these runner ducks, who, even though they're called runner ducks, they really don't run very fast at all. In fact, they waddle. And the poor duck, and it has a name. Oh my goodness.
Spencer?
No, Nesta gave it a name. Something like Archibald, but it's not Archibald. Somebody's going to pick us up on this and say, your duck is called... Anyway, Nesta named this duck, and it got picked up by a dog and given a little bit of a chew.
We thought it wouldn't make it through the night.
There was a desperately sad evening where we had to look after it and make sure that it was warm. And it was a disaster in that it got picked up by the dog, but actually it has recovered. It's got a bit of a limp. It had had a strained tendon.
Yeah.
And
so
it's got a bit of a limp.
The limp. It's
the
quite
limp
sweet.
is going down a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But,
So that was...
Anyway, that was one sort of animal disaster. I can think of another animal disaster. Julie trying to move the cattle.
Oh.
That didn't work out so well, did
Anything
it?
with a cow is always going to be a disaster with
But
me.
there was a particular moment when we were doing a sequence and we were trying to move the White Park cattle from the barn where they'd arrived into the rewilded area of Mapperton. And you were with Tom, and I was outside with my camera because I was filming this at the time.
No
safely
problem. You go in
behind
there, Julie.
a gate.
I feel like my husband's like sacrificing me. Like he's there filming behind a barricade, and he's like, just take my wife. Just put her there. Put her there. Her fear of cows, don't worry about it. Yeah.
And you were frozen to the spot in fear, and those cattle would not budge.
Oh my God. Like I think my whole body is in like a state of shock, and then afterwards, then you want to like vomit afterwards. So you go shock and then you vomit. That's what I feel like. Oh my God. Look at my hand. That was scary.
Oh, they're coming.
No, of course I remember that. I mean, I was frozen in fear. Of course I remember that. So, and I just don't know if I'm ever going to get rid of my fear of cows. I know I won't. So I'm already putting that out there.
But it was a fail because you didn't manage to move the cattle. Later on in that day, I think Tom did manage to.
Yeah.
Linked to the landscape here, there's been another real disaster this year, which is that we have a really important track that runs through the middle of the estate. And unfortunately, because of climate change and the amount of rain that we get here now, it's just been washing away. And a part of this track completely collapsed. And we spent a fortune rebuilding it. We chopped down a whole series of trees in order to create timbers to reinforce the track. We had huge diggers and tractors and everything ploughing earth, putting these timbers in, and the track was back to normal until 2 days later when the same thing happened again. And,
I don't think I knew about that.
We haven't visited that. So it's now, we've got this collapsed track.
Apparently it's a disaster.
It is. Well, it's just one of those things.
No idea
it's
about
one of those
that one.
real frustrations where you put a lot of effort into mending something and you think it's all been done and worked, and then suddenly it's not there.
Yes, that's like me and the 18th century pool. I put a lot of effort in that, trying to repair it.
Is this one of your disasters?
Well, it is actually. I think that.
Well, it's not yet because we haven't yet had a chance to do something about it. So I think that's going to be a success.
Yeah, it will be a success. I think the disaster really relates to that I wasn't able to swim in it, so then I had to go swim in the Queen Elizabeth's pool, and that was the disaster.
What, swimming in the pool was a disaster?
That was so scary.
Literally, I'm being sucked in. Oh my God, get me out.
There's some really good acting going on here.
No, get me out. Get me out. Get me out. Get me out.
I was being sucked under. It was quicksand.
What?
He told me that it was like an inch of sediment and then everything was going to be fine. And when I went in there, I was being pulled under.
By what? By some mysterious
I don't know, but
animal,
it was scary. It was like quicksand. I wanted to get out of there.
There was nothing pulling you.
No, there was. It was
I really
sucking me
don't
under.
think we can call that a disaster.
Ever again.
As some of you will know, and if you haven't watched the video, we suggest you go back and have a look. We also invented the chocolate ice cream. And I thought that our recipe for that, or at least the first Earl's recipe that we took out of the journal,
1660
was rather delicious.
Maybe.
Okay, we did 2 recipes together. One was hot chocolate, which was definitely a success.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
Yep, go.
Oh, that is absolutely wonderful.
Oh my goodness.
Brilliant.
But you think that ice cream wasn't a success.
Okay, oh my gosh.
Are you ready?
I mean, it really is ice cream. Okay.
Why were you saying it wasn't going to be good? Yes. I wonder, there's a lacking in body, I would say. A lot of water, not enough substance.
Did yours get stuck a little bit to your teeth?
It's unmistakably iced. Whether it can be called chocolate ice cream, we'll have to think carefully.
She is giving that as one of our top 5 disasters.
When I think about it, I go like this. Because it was like stuck to my teeth and it was like sucked it was awful.
It was just a really sophisticated
You not
taste.
see me eating it. It was
an acquired sophisticated
wasn't
taste.
It wasn't
Having
acquired.
said that,
like stuck to my teeth and my lips and my mouth, and it was not a success. That was a massive fail.
Was that a massive disaster?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to reinvent the whole ice cream here
Have we,
and make up my own. That is a success.
you know what? As we're reflecting on these disasters,
Yes.
they're not that disastrous, are they? I mean,
No.
a mudslip is a bit of a disaster. You failing to get out of a pool is not really a disaster.
It was scary.
Ice cream that doesn't taste so nice is not that disastrous, is it? I mean,
No, I think it's looking at the silver lining.
I think we.
So I think it's looking at, Queen Elizabeth's bath.
I think we need to rename this video "Top 5 Things That Happened That Weren't That Good." But I don't think we can qualify
That's
them
way
as.
too long. That
I
is
don't think
the
we can
worst
qualify them
title ever.
as disasters.
The top 5 things that weren't so good.
I think that was. Stephen likes that title.
The worst
He does.
title ever.
Top 5 things that weren't that good. We're going to rename it as
Does that mean-
You see, we'll get way more
Does that
views.
bell, does the chiming of the grandfather clock mean time is up for you? He's closed down.
think I'm
That's
being
enough.
cut off.
That's enough. We're done with you.
Top 5 things that weren't that good. You saw it here.
We're gonna end it now.
For early access to these videos, behind-the-scenes content, and other benefits, please become a patron at patreon.com/Mapperton Live.